Hi. So let's start with any thoughts or questions or anything that you have regarding the previous session, regarding what we discussed yesterday.
Mm,
Anything?
um, no, I I didn't go over it again, so I don't remember even much.
Okay, okay.
I think, but yesterday's was also not very complicated.
No, no, not
But
complicated.
there were some chapters in the middle that were very intense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is quite accessible. We are
Hmm.
talking about humane conduct, so we all have some sense of what that should be already. So in that way, it's not so theoretical. It's very behavioral. It's very within our reach. Very relatable.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll just recap. Yesterday we started talking about how humans, the existing tradition has been made for us, which made in a way that encourages us, teaches us, trains us to live like animals. Whereas human nature is very different from animal nature. And
Yeah.
he had talked about how no animal ever desires resolution, no animal desires prosperity, no animal desires fearlessness in the way humans do, and no animal desires coexistence. It's only humans that desire this. And therefore the education of what human nature and humane conduct is to be, and the systems in accordance with it will have to be very different from that which is used for animals, because
Yeah.
animals are governed by their bodies, whereas humans not are not primarily bodies. They are primarily conscious, and secondarily they use our bodies, whereas for animals it's the opposite. And so we started talking about how um, we for humane conduct there are these two things. There is this humane character and humane um, ethics. So humane character is righteous wealth, righteous spouse, and kind behavior and action, work, and your ethics are the correct use, right utilization, and security of our mind, body, and resources. So this this is our humane character, and then these are humane ethics. And when these humane character and humane ethics are combined, and we are able to live according to these, then what naturally happens is that we are able to live out our value of justice. That is, we are able to live out relationships, which happen in the form of you identify the relationship, and upon identification, automatically the corresponding values flow from us. And upon this relationship identification and then the flow of values, there is a mutual evaluation of what this interaction has been, what have been the values that have uh, flowed from each in this relationship. And based on such evaluation, there is mutual fulfillment. So in this way, humane conduct comprises of the set of three things: humane character, humane ethics, and humane values. And this is what needs to be understood. And this is what has been missing in the human tradition. It's not like there have been no aspirations or no prayers towards universal welfare and universal good. There have been that, but there have been so many, there in the same prayers and the same aspirations, there have also been inherent contradictions, because they talk about in universal good and universal welfare on one page, and then 10 pages later they also talk about the fact that everything that exists is a lie, everything is an illusion, and it is only God which is real, and we need to go to God. So, if that is what life is all about, then what is this universal welfare that they were talking about? So, no, so these aspirations, although they existed, they have been contradictory in nature. They have not been understood properly. They have not been pursued in their entirety. And so, even though humans have constantly desired harmony and understanding, traditions have been unable to provide them that understanding. Although humans have always wanted to be honest and sincere, traditions have been unable to provide any examples of honesty and sincerity. And humans have always wanted to be responsible. Traditions have been unable to provide any purpose for which responsibility would be taken up, because responsibility is not in a vacuum. You always take responsibility for some end. So no such universal or coherent purpose has been identified in our human tradition, which was, provided for those who were seeking to be responsible. And therefore, we have been unable to, despite wanting to be contributive and, harmonious participants in society, we have been unable to, tradition has been unable to guide us in any way to be able to participate in such a harmonious manner. And now we need to understand that. To understand that, we need to understand humane conduct, and humane conduct is in these 3 points: humane character, humane ethics, and humane values. Yesterday we had ended at humane description of what this relationship and values are. That, when we recognize relationships, we automatically, automatically corresponding values flow from us. Those corresponding, that's what bhav was the word, but for which we don't have the exact corresponding word in English. The bhav, or the value, or the abstract purpose, meaning with which we are going to interact with them, that flows as soon as we recognize our relationship with someone. So we'll carry on from there today.
Okay.
तो सभी संबंधों में प्रयोजन निहित रहती, ना होने से प्रयोजन नहीं होता। ज्ञान पैदा किया, ये सब बात पुनः वही जड़ में आ जाते हैं अपन। ये सब बात से कोई प्रयोजन निकलता नहीं है, केवल ईश्वर ही है, उन्हीं के शरण में जाना चाहिए, यही किताब में लिखा रहता है। तो अब किसका सबका कल्याण होगा? असली माँ बाप के पास जाने के बाद जो गया हुआ का अस्तित्व रहना नहीं है, अब किसका कल्याण होना है? जब वो स्वयं में मैंने असली माँ बाप कल्याण स्वरूप ही है, फिर बाद में अकल्याण के लिए ये सब काय को परेशान पैदा किया, ये सब बात पुनः वही जड़ में आ जाते हैं अपन। ये सब बात
So this is a continuation of that a sort of critique of traditional philosophies, where they say that on one hand they say that we want universal welfare, and on the other hand they say that the true parent and the true shelter and the true destination for all of us is to free ourselves of all that we see around us, everyone and everything that we see around us, which is illusory, and to go to the ultimate shelter and parent, that is God. And then that leads to the very same contradiction of, then what is the purpose of all this that exists? If we had to go there in any case, why did our esteemed parent, ultimate parent, God, send us to this illusory world in the first place?
से पैदा किया, ये सब बात पुनः वही जड़ में आ जाते हैं अपन। ये सब बात से कोई प्रयोजन निकलता नहीं है, प्रयोजन।
So all these logics and arguments show no purpose, shed light on no purpose.
इतने ही है, समझदार होने पर ही आदमी का प्रयोजन निकलता है, समझदार ना होने से प्रयोजन नहीं निकलता।
So what we find is simply this, that it is upon understanding that we find the human purpose. Without understanding, we can't find the human purpose.
ये अंतिम रूप में एक निष्कर्ष रूप में आता है।
This is what we find as a final conclusion.
तो सभी संबंधों में प्रयोजन निहित रहती है। क्या प्रयोजन? ये जो पहले कही गई 4 बात है, 4 लक्ष्य है, समाधान, समृद्धि, अभय, सहअस्तित्व रूपी लक्ष्य है। इसको सफल बनाने के अर्थ में ही प्रयोजन रहता है।
So, all relationships have some inherent purpose. What purpose? That purpose is what we have already mentioned, those 4 points, which are resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. Our purpose is in the form of these 4 goals. The purpose of relationship is also in terms of these 4 goals.
सारा प्रयोजन, सारा संबंधों का प्रयोजन इसी से जुड़ा रहता है।
The purpose of all relationships is associated with these 4 goals.
ये इसमें जुड़ने की पश्चात परंपरा बन जाती है। समझदारी यदि एक पीढ़ी से दूसरे पीढ़ी को पहुंच पाता है, स्वाभाविक है उसके आगे पीढ़ी को भी जाएगी, उसके आगे पीढ़ी को भी जाएगी।
And upon connecting to these goals, we can form a tradition of such understanding and relationship. Because it is natural that if one generation understands this purpose and these goals, then it is natural that they will pass it on to the next generation. And then naturally the next generation will pass it on to the consecutive generation. And similarly, it will. Are you saying something?
Yeah, these 3-4 times that you stopped, can you say it all in one chase, because I couldn't make out.
Okay. So he's saying that the purpose, or there is a purpose to all relationships, and the purpose to all relationships is in terms of these 4 goals that we've already mentioned. The 4 goals are resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. And so when we understand these 4 goals as our human purpose, and also therefore the purpose of all relationships, then we are able to live, then we are able to live out in a harmonious way, and that becomes a tradition. How does it become a tradition? It becomes a tradition because, see, if all of us in the current generation recognize this universal human purpose of all relationships, then we will naturally be able to also share this with our future generations, with the next generation. And they will also be able to understand it. And if they understand it, they will also be able to pass it on to the next generation. Similarly, this knowledge, because it is complete and it is it matches the natural order for human beings, therefore it will form a continuity of understanding across generations, and therefore it will form a continuous tradition.
But then why hasn't it happened? No?
Because we haven't understood this purpose. We don't recognize today, when we think about relationships, do we think about the purpose of each relationship, and do we recognize that the purpose of each relationship is in terms of resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence?
Like, how do you connect resolution to relationship, for example? Like, what does it mean?
So what it means is that we recognize that each individual, each human wishes for these 4 things. Each human being wants resolution. Each human being wants prosperity, and all these 4 things. What does resolution mean? That's a good question. Because if that is our goal, then we must also understand what it means. So resolution means that in any situation, we should know what needs to be done, how much, why, when, where. Having the answer to all the what, when, how, where for any situation is called the state of resolution. Now, having this answer,
but people will have the answers. Maybe many in a relationship, 2 people will have the answer, or 4 people if you're talking of a family, but their answers may be different. So the resolution,
because that is not resolution. No, resolution means having the right solution, not just having an answer, but having the right answer. And we've discussed that when we have the right answer, all of us will have the same right answer.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's an assumption. Unless once we go around, when will it get evidenced? I don't know. But for now, it looks like belief. Not belief, it looks like somebody's at least experienced it. but
Yeah.
not to
Yeah,
be.
he's proposing that
हाँ,
because I could understand it, similarly, you will also be able to understand it.
ठीक
You
है,
just need to go through that process of understanding. Like,
okay.
you know, today you are asking, what would resolution be like? Maybe 3 months ago, resolution wasn't a question even for you. Similarly, there may be a question I'm asking today that 1 year ago was not even a question for me because I wasn't aware that this is something I need to understand. So slowly, we evolve our consciousness in the sense we evolve our need to understand. And
Correct.
when we evolve our need to understand, when the need arises, then we'll seek the answer. When we
Hmm.
seek the answer, he is saying you will find the answer. And
ठीक है.
in that
Hmm.
way, we will reach this point where slowly all of our understanding grows and we are all able to reach the right answer.
Hmm. All right. Thank you.
Also, another point is that resolution, the answer that resolution provides, at the end of the day, resolution means an answer to the situation which upholds harmony, which upholds justice. So that is also worth,
Because the right one will have all these qualities. Hmm.
yeah, because the right answer to anything is always coexistence,
Yeah.
and coexistence is harmony.
Harmony. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
So since that is the purpose for each individual, that is also the purpose of relationships. That is the purpose of individual as well as collective humankind. So
Hmm.
my relationship with my parents will also be such along the lines of that our engagement should lead to this goal, so that both of our goals, this shared goal of ours, should be achieved. In which both of us have resolution, both of us have prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. So if
Hmm.
that's what you think, that all relationships are in terms of this purpose,
Hmm.
that we'll hold hands and go towards it.
Okay. ठीक है.
ऐसा आशा ही किया जा सकता है, इस पीढ़ी को भी जाएगी, उसके आगे पीढ़ी को भी जाएगी, ऐसा आशा ही किया जा सकता है. इस ढंग से समझदारी का ही परंपरा होगा, तो नासमझी का कोई परंपरा होता ही नहीं.
Right. So if we understand, then we'll pass on to the next generation, then that will pass on and pass. It will form a tradition, and that is something that we can hope for. And because it is only of understanding that we can form a tradition. Lack of understanding can form no tradition. Or rather, ignorance can form no. There can be no tradition of ignorance. There can be no tradition of delusion.
अभी तक इसलिए कोई परंपरा ही नहीं बना.
Therefore, there has been no tradition that has been established as of now, as of yet.
But generally speaking, people who haven't families that are not understood, let's say Jeevan, then there is a tradition of this, no, ignorance. It's a traditional ignorance.
Is there a tradition of it? What we would say that there is a tradition of some, say, belief, but no belief you can find. If you look at history, you will find that no particular ideology or no particular belief which is incorrect actually really lasts or really spreads, because at some point or the other it proves insufficient, unfulfilling for the people who have received it from their previous generation, and therefore there's a change.
It lasts for so long, no?
But it hasn't lasted, no. In the sense, of course, you still find remnants of it, but say you take any tradition, say the Vedic traditions of which he is a part. How is there a tradition? Do we live a tradition in which that philosophy or that ideology is really lived out? No, we see that people are leaving that, and in fact, all cultures, all traditional cultures are concerned about how people are losing their roots because of modernization. People are forgetting their culture and forgetting their sanskar because of modernization.
Like say we say the Greek tradition was, or whatever. So we say the bullfight or whatever. So that was a tradition. Okay. Lasted for so long, for example, like that, then ultimately, after so long it dies out, then that means everything dies out after some time. In any
That's what
case,
he's saying. Everything does die out after some time because it is not sufficing, because it is not fulfilling.
can you
Otherwise,
name
it will
one
not
thing
die
that
out.
lasts forever? Can you think of something that's always there? Jeevan.
Yeah. So
Jeevan is
once after the say the neem tree came into being, we've had a continuity of neem trees. They're still ongoing. It's been millennia. Unless we intervene and disturb the environment, we will continue to have neem trees.
this
Or
was
if you look at the
tradition in nature, in humans, the tradition relationship is in humans we are
right
talking. So the
in
tradition is
humans, right. So in humans, the only thing that we can really say has established its tradition is the human body. Ever since the human body emerged, there has been a continuity of human bodies. In fact, we have put a question mark even on that, because if we lead to the devastation of our climate and our planet, there will be no there will be no capacity for this earth to support the human bodies. So we can't even ensure, we haven't even been able to truly ensure the continuity, the continuous tradition of our human body. So that is what he's saying, that it is because lack of understanding, this delusions can't form traditions because they will never be sufficient. No, if you receive some wisdom or some belief from your previous generation and you test it out, you will hold on to it unless it feels insufficient. It is only when what you have received from the previous generation feels insufficient that you go looking for something else. Otherwise, why would you look for something else?
yeah, but then so far nothing has been correct. That means
Yeah.
ever nothing ever has been correct.
Nothing has been complete. Nothing has been completely fulfilling. Yeah.
Not fulfilling. Abhi, we use the word that I've forgotten the word, but we use the word when I started my question that what was the word? Not fulfilling was not the word. What was the word? We used words incorrect. Let's say incorrect or whatever. So nothing has been correct in that sense, ever.
Right. So when you look at it, correctness is only in its completeness. Like, will you say, like, even when you used to do math problems, the answer is only correct when you get the right answer. No matter till which point you followed the right procedure. Maybe you come a long way doing the right thing, but then you made some silly mistake and went haywire. Your answer will still be wrong. So we can
correct.
say that
Okay. So
correct
up till
will be
now,
complete only, but we
okay.
can recognize that we've reached a certain distance. We are incomplete, therefore we are incorrect.
Okay. So we don't know how long it will take for the correctness to happen in terms of length.
It'll take as long as it takes us to understand. It depends on he's saying it's up to you. It's our individual effort at the end of the day. Our sincerity to our question, we recognize what we need and we move towards it. That is what determines how long.
So then in your own little world, say a family of a family or a group of people or someone understands Jeevan and etc. and that group has understood. But doesn't mean the relationship with other groups or other people outside of that group will be all right because the outside will keep interfering with their resolution and everything. No, so.
So what sort of resolution do we have if we can't understand our outsiders and their needs to intervene? Then that is not resolution. That is some sort of temporary, stable, maybe temporarily okay place we've reached. But resolution, he is saying, is something that is recognized by anyone. If anyone who sees it will want to be like that, and you will have the compassion to be able to share it.
Okay, so I have to expand that bit in my mind a bit. Okay, TK. I have to expand that thing of when you understand Jeevan, these things are understood then.
Yeah. Because understanding Jeevan implies that you've understood all these other things also. Only then will you be able to understand the Jeevan in its entirety.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. We can move on.
झंझट तो ये है, किंतु कई लोग परंपरा बनाना चाहते हैं, ये भी बात सच्चाई है।
So there has not yet been any tradition, and there can be no tradition of delusion, of lack of understanding. Yet, several people do wish to establish a tradition.
लोग परंपरा बनाना चाहते हैं, ये भी बात सच्चाई है। इसका गवाही यही है, बहुत सारे संस्थाएं जन्मे हैं। एक सरकारी संस्था कहलाता है और असरकारी संस्था भी कहलाता है, ऐसे संस्थाएं बहुत निकले।
So that is also true that several people wish to establish traditions. The testimony to that is that there are several organizations have emerged. There are some that are governmental organizations, and then there are also those that are considered non-governmental organizations.
बहुत जगह में देखने को मिला है। तो ये सबका कुल मिलाकर के उद्देश्य यही बनता है, हम दूसरों को मदद करें, मदद।
And you can see this in several places, such organizations that have cropped up, and the overall objective of all of these, the common overall objective of all of these organizations is that we want to help others.
सबका कुल मिलाकर के उद्देश्य यही बनता है, हम दूसरों को मदद करें। मदद वही करता है जिसके पास कुछ हो। सच्चाई तो यह है। क्या लेकर के आप मदद करोगे भाई, ऐसा पूछा जाए तो क्या कहेंगे? मदद करेंगे नहीं।
The overall objective for all of these is that we wish to help others. Now, help can only be provided by those who have something. So,
ऐसा पूछा जाए, सच्चाई तो दूसरों को मदद करें। मदद वही करता है जिसके पास कुछ हो। सच्चाई तो यह है। क्या लेकर के आप मदद करोगे भाई, ऐसा पूछा जाए तो क्या कहेंगे?
And so, if we ask them, what do you have with which you will help others? So, what would they say?
मदद करेंगे नहीं कि क्या करेंगे? तो एक आदमी बोलता है ये हमारे पास जो है, जो तकनीकी है, हम तकनीकी से सेवा करते हैं। सेवा करके क्या करोगे? आप तकनीकी को उपयोग किए हो? मैं अभी आए थे एक टीम।
So, some people respond to that saying that we have some technology. With that technology, we will help others. And when I ask them, okay, so have you utilized this technology? In this respect, someone had visited.
वही संसार को उतारने वाले बोला, हम सारा संसार को तकनीकी देते हैं निःशुल्क। ठीक है, बढ़िया है। आप तकनीकी का सेवन किए हो? वो कहते हैं नहीं। आप स्वयं यदि सेवन नहीं किए हैं, आप तकनीकी को किस आधार पर आप दूसरों को दोगे? क्या पाने के लिए देंगे? आप बताइए।
So, someone had visited recently, and they said that we provide technology to the entire world free of cost. And on that, when I asked them that have you consumed this technology, sevan kiye ho, means to taste or use, have you consumed this technology? And they replied with no, we haven't. So if you haven't consumed this technology, then on what basis will you share it with others?
क्या पाने के लिए देंगे? आप बताइए। अभी सरकार भी वैसे ही है, संसार को तकनीकी बांट रहा है। क्या उस तकनीकी ज्ञान संपन्न व्यक्ति क्या प्रामाणिक है? पूछा जाए तो वो कहता है नहीं, हमारा।
Okay. And so what will it achieve by this distribution of technology? And similarly, the government is also doing the same. The government is distributing technology and does this government which is distributing technology, is anyone in it evidence? Are they evidence basically in humane conduct, in humane living, in resolution? The answer is no.
वैसे ही है, संसार को तकनीकी बांट रहा है। क्या उस तकनीकी ज्ञान संपन्न व्यक्ति क्या प्रामाणिक है? पूछा जाए तो वो कहता है नहीं है, हमारा काम ये नहीं है, प्रमाणित होना नहीं तो क्या करना है आप ही।
So this person who is extremely educated and qualified in this technical education, are they evidence? And they say no, it's not our job to be evidence. Well, then if it's not your job to be evidence, then what is all of this for?
बताओ, ये कितना दुर्भर स्थिति है। एक बात सोचने की बात, इसमें हम पकड़ में आ गए हैं। उसमें ये भी अस्मिताएं जन्म रही है।
What a dubhar state of things this is. I don't know what dubhar is, but I'm assuming it means something like unfortunate or really inexplicable, inexplicably pathetic. Yeah. So he says, yeah, you only decide what a pathetic state this is. When all welfare effort is done through providing technology, but the person who is the technical engineer, who is the technical scientist, they themselves have nothing worth sharing. When they themselves are not fulfilled, when they themselves are not evident, therefore they have nothing worth sharing. And what is the point of sharing all this technology?
कि जैसा ही पढ़ने वाला व्यक्ति जो पढ़ करके तैयार होता है, सारे विगत संसार से श्रेष्ठ बुद्धिमान अपने को ही मानते हैं। तो उसका एक बार सर्वे किए थे, तो सर्वे के आधार पर यही निकलती है कि 5वीं पढ़ने के बाद गांव खराब, 8वीं पढ़ने के बाद माँ बाप बेवकूफ, 11वीं पढ़ने के बाद पढ़ाने वाला मूर्ख, और स्नातक के बाद अकेले एक आदमी बुद्धिमान।
So another similar situation is regarding our what the products of our education institutions. So daily, each year there are several graduates that leave this education system, and each of them believes that they themselves are the wisest and the most accomplished people in the world. And we did a survey once and found that upon completing class 5, the child starts thinking that the village is useless. Upon finishing class 8, my parents are fools. Upon completing class, I think 10, the teacher is completely ignorant. And upon completing graduation, they feel like they are the only intelligent, the only intellectual in the world.
सारे संसार में ऐसा
The entire world is foolish.
अहमता का चक्कर घूमता है।
And this way, this cycle of arrogance is constantly churning out people.
अब ये चक्र से कौन बचे भाई? हर व्यक्ति के पास यही चक्र है। हर वर्ष जो ना करोड़ों जो स्नातक होना पाया जाता है, तो एक एक ऐसे पागल आदमी को 20-20 डॉक्टर लगाओ तो भी ठीक होना मुश्किल है। आदमी कहाँ से लाओगे? डॉक्टर कैसा बनाओगे?
So in this way, how do we save ourselves from this cycle of arrogance? We have crores of individuals leaving this churning mill of arrogance each year, crores of graduates. And if each individual, if you dedicate 20 doctors to each such individual, even then, how will you turn them into a human? How will you turn such a He's calling this insanity. How will you turn such insanity into a human? And where will you find the people to turn them into humans? Where are those doctors going to come from?
तो भी ठीक होना मुश्किल है। आदमी कहाँ से लाओगे? डॉक्टर कैसा बनाओगे? रिपेयर ही कैसा होगा?
So even if you were to dedicate 20 such doctors, you can't cure such insanity. And even then, where will you find so many doctors, and how will you repair this?
इस प्रकार से एक प्रकार से ये असाध्य रोग जैसा बात हो गई। रोगों के बारे में भी यही सोचा है, कुछ ऐसे रोग होते हैं जो आसानी से ठीक किया जा सकता है, कुछ ऐसे रोग आते हैं असाध्य हो जाते हैं, माने औषधि से ठीक ही नहीं होता है।
So in this way you have this untreatable sort of disease. In terms of disease also, there is this discourse that certain diseases are easily treatable. You can take medicines and treat them easily. And then there are some diseases that are untreatable. That means even with medication, they cannot be treated.
क्या किया जाए?
Now what
तो
to do?
उसके लिए हमारे यहाँ कहा है मणि मंत्र औषधि योग, 4 बात को सेवन करो। तो मंत्र के बारे में दौड़े।
And on this, our tradition says that there are these 4 things that one must consume in order to treat one's diseases, which is gemstones, chants, medicine, and yoga, which is yoga exercises. He's just giving some anecdote of the tradition, Vedic tradition.
बात को सेवन करो। तो मंत्र के बारे में दौड़े, मंत्र के बारे में मैं सोचते रहे बहुत दिन तक, मैंने मंत्र से कुछ होता होगा। तो ये सारे मंत्र के, योग के और जो बात है, दोनों खाके की बात है। मनुष्य का शुभ कामना बल ही एकमात्र वस्तु है। इन दोनों से केवल मनुष्य का शुभ कामना ही काम करता है। व्यक्ति के साथ व्यक्ति का विश्वास ही इसका आधार है। व्यक्ति के साथ व्यक्ति का आधार से जो कुछ भी मदद होना हो जाता है, मनोबल बढ़ जाता है, थोड़ा सा सहन शक्ति बढ़ जाती है, दवाई।
And so for a long time they kept running after what these chants are that will help cure diseases, and it has been sought after for a long time. And on that, all that can be said is that regarding chants is that it is only the well wishes of other humans that can have any sort of effect really on the disease. That is all we can really say about this, in the sense that the well wishes and confidence of another human being for you will help raise your spirit, will help give you some meaning in life, will help give you the will to fight the disease. And that is the most that you can achieve from what were considered chants.
हो जाता है, मनोबल बढ़ जाता है, थोड़ा सा सहन शक्ति बढ़ जाती है।
It gives you some sort of, it may increase your spirits, it will increase your spirits, it may increase your ability to resist, to tolerate.
दवाई उपचार यदि सही बन जाती है, वो थोड़ा सा उभर जाते हैं।
And then if there is some appropriate medicine and treatment provided, then the patient can recover.
ऐसा भी देखा गया।
That has also been seen.
तो जहाँ तक समझदारी की झंझट है, इसमें स्वयं समझे बिना इसमें कोई मदद नहीं कर सकता। हम यदि समझदार नहीं होना चाहते हैं, हमको आप किसी भी प्रकार से समझदार नहीं बना सकते।
So as far as this nuisance of understanding goes, the thing is that unless we wish to be knowledgeable, unless we wish to understand, no one can help us. If I don't wish to understand, then no matter how hard you try, you cannot make me understand.
उसका गवाही मैं स्वयं हूँ। हमारा परिवार में हमको जब वेद पढ़ने के लिए डाला, हम वेद पढ़ना नहीं चाहा, हमको कोई वेद नहीं पढ़ा पाया।
The testimony to this is me. I am myself the testimony to this. in my family, when they wished for me, when they wanted me to study the Veds, and I didn't wish to, no one was able to help me, was able to educate me on the Veds.
हमारा घर में वेद मूर्ति, बगल में वेद मूर्ति और पूरा गांव में वेद मूर्ति, और उनके अंदर हमको वेद नहीं पढ़ा पाए.
There were top Vedic scholars in my very family, in my home. Just right beside me, there were top Vedic scholars. My entire village was full of the highest Vedic scholars, and yet they could not educate me on the Vedas while I was sitting right in the center of all these Vedic scholars.
ना मैं वेद पढ़ा. इस विधि से देखने पर लगता है तो हम जो
Neither could they educate me, and nor did I try to educate myself on the Vedas.
ना मैं वेद पढ़ा. इस विधि से देखने पर लगता है तो हम जो चाहते नहीं हैं उसको कोई करा नहीं पाएगा, हमको समझा नहीं पाएगा. अब इसमें एक ही सूत्र आपको बताया था जो
In this way we find out that what we do not desire, no one can make us do it. No one can make us understand it. And
हमको समझा नहीं पाएगा. अब इसमें एक ही सूत्र आपको बताया था जो इस धरती पर हर मानव समझदार होना चाहते हैं. ये सूत्र रखी हुई है. ठीक है.
Now in this context, I had mentioned this one maxim that on this earth, every single human being wishes to understand. This maxim is lying here with us.
इस धरती पर हर मानव समझदार होना चाहता है. ये चाहने के आधार पर आदमी को समझदार बनाया जा सकता है.
The maxim is that each human being on this planet wishes to become knowledgeable, and on that basis, humans can be made knowledgeable.
उसी आधार पर हम शुरू किए. यदि
And that is the basis, that is the very basis on which I have started out.
मनुष्य जो है ना मूलतः समझदार बनना नहीं चाहता था, चाहता रहा, उस स्थिति में हम समझदार बनाना बनता नहीं रहा है.
Because had the case been that humans didn't intrinsically wish to understand, in that state, there was no way in which I could have made them understand.
ये होना ही नहीं था.
That was
संयोग से
never
हर
going to
मनुष्य
happen.
में समझदार बनने की इच्छा है. ठीक है. जो बाकी सब कुकृत्य सुकृत्य जो कुछ भी है परंपरा कर रहा है, उसमें एक अपने को मजबूरी मानते हैं प्रौढ़ व्यक्ति. ये स्थिति को देख करके इस अभियान को शुरू किया.
So serendipity is such that humans already wish to understand, and all the good fortunes or bad fortunes that we may have in the form of our existing traditions, those are our compulsions, those are our constraints, and I need to work alongside those, such as the fact that I am also considering the fact that I am myself fraud. Fraud is like a senior citizen. Yeah. So, the positive fortunes or the negative fortunes provided by traditions and the fact that I'm a senior citizen, keeping all of these constraints in mind, I began this program, given the serendipity that humans already wish to understand.
कुल मिलाकर के इस अभियान को शुरू करने का मूल तत्व ये रहा. मानव परंपरा में हर मानव में समझदार बनाने की अरमान है.
So altogether, that has been my basic background for starting this program. That overall, all humans have this desire, this aspiration to understand.
मानव परंपरा में हर मानव में समझदार बनाने की अरमान है. ये बात सच्चाई है. इस विधि से शुरुआत की है. इस शुरुआत से मनुष्य को कहीं ना कहीं राहत मिलने की आसार भी है. तो कई लोग समझ चुके हैं, उनमें ये सब गुण पैदा भी होता है जो जिसको हम
way, there is also this possibility to provide relief to humankind. And that also the fact that now several people have also been able to understand, and upon understanding we find that these qualities have also emerged within them.
तो कई लोग समझ चुके हैं, उनमें ये सब गुण पैदा भी होता है, जो जिसको हम मानवीयता पूर्ण गुण कह रहे हैं, मानवीयता पूर्ण आचरण कह रहे हैं, ये कई लोगों में जन्म चुका है.
Those qualities have emerged in people who have understood the qualities that we are calling humane conduct. So these humane qualities have already emerged in many people who have understood.
यहाँ तक हम आते हैं प्रमाणों के आधार पर बात शुरुआत.
So this is where we have reached when talking in terms of evidence.
नैतिकता का मूल तत्व जो तन मन धन तीन रूप में कुल मिलाकर के अर्थ होता है, जिस अर्थ को प्रयोजन के अर्थ में मैंने नियोजित करना है, कुल मिलाकर के सदुपयोग है.
Okay. So now when we come to ethics, that is the body, mind and resources. Actually, resources is not the best word for dhan. Our body, mind and our wealth, these three resources that we have. So there are three resources that each of us possess: our bodies, our mind and our wealth. And so the right utilization of all of these is the utilization for all these three resources of ours in terms of our purpose towards the end of our purpose, that itself is right utilization. So we had discussed how ethics is about right utilization and security of our mind, body and wealth. And what he's saying is that right utilization is a utilization of the three of these for our collective universal purpose.
जैसा जिस किसी विधि में वस्तु का हम सदुपयोग करते हैं, उसका दो भाग होगी. सेवा और उत्पादन में हम तन मन धन को नियोजित करते हैं.
So, like whenever we are to utilize any resource correctly, whenever we are to go into the right utilization of any resource, that will be in two forms. That can be in two forms or in two ways. The first is we can use our resources for service, or we can use it for production.
सेवा और उत्पादन में हम तन मन धन को नियोजित करते हैं.
We can dedicate our mind, body and wealth for service or for production.
दूसरा, हम उपयोग बने संबंधों के साथ प्रयोजनों को सफल बनाने के लिए हम तन मन धन रूपी अर्थ का सदुपयोग करते हैं.
Second, we can use our mind, body and wealth for fructifying the purposes of our relationship, for realizing the purpose of our relationship. We can dedicate our mind, body and wealth for realizing the purpose of each of our relationships.
प्रयोजनों को सफल बनाने के लिए हम तन मन धन रूपी अर्थ का सदुपयोग करते हैं. जिसका सदुपयोग किया उसका सुरक्षा हो गया.
When we use something in the right way, that becomes secured. It becomes secured.
जिसके लिए हम सदुपयोग किया अर्थ का, उसका सुरक्षा हुआ है.
So when we correctly utilize any resource, then its security is already ensured. It's secured because it is being used in the right way.
तो सुरक्षा का मतलब जो किसी का किसी के साथ हमारा किया हुआ तन मन धन रूपी अर्थ का सदुपयोग के फलन में उसका सुरक्षा हो गई। यही हमारा सुरक्षा और सदुपयोग का अर्थ।
So, security of our mind, body, and wealth, security of these three resources of ours, is when we put that resource to the right utilization in terms of when we put it to be utilized in terms of our purpose, which is its right utilization, that itself is security. So that is the meaning of right utilization and security for us.
सुरक्षा हो गई। यही हमारा सुरक्षा और सदुपयोग का अर्थ। प्रयोजन में यही निकलती हैं अभ्युदय यात्रा है। सर्वतोमुखी समाधान के लिए हम अपना नियोजन करते हैं मनुष्य के साथ, और समृद्धि के लिए करते हैं, उत्पादन के लिए करते ही हैं, और वर्तमान में विश्वास रखने के लिए, व्यवस्था के लिए।
And when we talk about the purpose, that is always abhyudaya. Abhyudaya essentially means overall overall goodness or overall universal order. Essentially, abhyudaya is a word given to, traditionally, is a word given to there being some universal welfare and order and global harmony. And so he's saying that is the ultimate purpose for which we do anything, that we dedicate any of our resources to.
मनुष्य के साथ और समृद्धि के लिए करते हैं, उत्पादन करते हैं।
And this overall universal global welfare is in the form of multifaceted resolution for each individual. So resolution which is multifaceted. It's not like we'll have resolution in one dimension and not in any other. This resolution is multifaceted. It addresses all different facets of our living. So the ultimate purpose to which you dedicate your resources is abhyuday or global welfare. That global welfare is in the form of multifaceted resolution. Then it is also for prosperity, which is part of this abhyuday itself. Prosperity is the in the form of production greater than what is required.
सर्वतोमुखी समाधान के लिए हम अपना नियोजन करते हैं मनुष्य के साथ, और समृद्धि के लिए करते हैं, उत्पादन के लिए करते ही हैं, और वर्तमान में विश्वास रखने के लिए, व्यवस्था के लिए हम तन मन धन रूपी अर्थ का नियोजित करते हैं।
And then we dedicate it to dedicate our resources for our confidence in the present. That is Vartaman mein Vishwas. Confidence in the present is a description of what fearlessness is. So the first one was Abhyuday, which is multifaceted resolution. Our purpose is resolution. Then there is prosperity among humans. Resolution is among humans, multifaceted resolution among humans. Prosperity is in terms of production. Then fearlessness is a confidence in the present.
सहअस्तित्व के लिए करते हैं। इस चारों विधि के लिए हम किया हुआ तन मन धन रूपी अर्थ
eternally and globally complementarity
है, उसका जहाँ कहीं भी हम नियोजित किया उसका सुरक्षा हुआ, माने फलस्वरूप हमारा धन का सदुपयोग हुआ।
So when we use our resources for any of these four objectives, then that is its right utilization, and that when we use it for that, that itself is its security, that itself is its preservation.
नियोजित किया उसका सुरक्षा हुआ, माने फलस्वरूप हमारा धन का सदुपयोग हुआ। सदुपयोग के बिना सुरक्षा, सुरक्षा के बिना सदुपयोग होगा नहीं।
So right utilization without security or security without right utilization is not going to happen.
तो सदुपयोग हुए बिना सुरक्षा होता ही नहीं, सुरक्षा हुए बिना सदुपयोग नहीं होता।
So unless you utilize something correctly, you will not be able to secure it. And unless you secure your resources, you will not be able to utilize it correctly.
इस ढंग से सदुपयोग सुरक्षा से विदा हो नहीं सकती। सुरक्षा सदुपयोग से विदा नहीं कर सकती। ये निरंतर एक चक्रव्यूह के जैसा घूमता ही रहता है। यह सदा सदा के लिए शुभद होता है। ये शुभ प्रवृत्ति में हमारा तन मन धन रूप को नियोजित करने की आवश्यकता बनी ही रहती है।
In this way, right utilization cannot be separated from security, and security cannot be separated from right utilization. This is an eternal, everlasting cycle that is constantly running for the dedication of our resources.
में हमारा तन मन धन रूप को नियोजित करने की आवश्यकता बनी ही रहती है।
In this way, there is a constant eternal need to dedicate our body, mind, and wealth, our resources that are in the form of our body, mind, and wealth, towards right utilization and security, securing them.
जो हम जागृत होने के अर्थ में, तो
Which
इस विधि
will
से
only
हम
happen upon awakening, which is in, by, and for awakening.
हमारा जो लक्ष्य है, मानव लक्ष्य ही मानव का प्रयोजन है। जीवन लक्ष्य ही जीवन का प्रयोजन है। अस्तित्व का लक्ष्य ही अस्तित्व का प्रयोजन है।
So in this way, these four things are our human goals, and the human goals themselves are the purpose of humans, and the Jeevan's goals are the purpose of the Jeevan. Similarly, the goals of existence are themselves the purpose of existence. Yeah, okay, we have 3 minutes left. I feel like this is a nice well-rounded point to pause at in case you have any questions. There's just been a lot of stress on the same points actually. Manji, anything?
No, I'm just going over it in my mind. I don't think so. It was pretty clear.
Yeah.
They spoke very cutely today.
Yeah.
You want to finish now or you want to?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we can pause here. 2 minutes. Let's see what happens in 2 minutes.
ठीक है.
We can end.
इस ढंग से बनता है। ये इन प्रयोजनों को पहचानने के लिए मानव के अतिरिक्त और कोई संसार में वस्तु नहीं है। इसको पहचान।
So, to recognize these purposes, there is no other entity in existence other than humans. This is a very important thing.
पहचानने के लिए हम सदा सदा तत्पर हैं और इसको आगे चल करके समझने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे। जय हो, मंगल हो, कल्याण हो।
Wow.
Okay.
Excellent.
So it's good. It'd be good. Waited for that 1 minute. Say it again from where you do. Go back and do this again.
को पहचानने के लिए ये अस्तित्व का मानव लक्ष्य ही मानव का प्रयोजन है। जीवन लक्ष्य ही जीवन का प्रयोजन है। अस्तित्व का लक्ष्य ही अस्तित्व का प्रयोजन है। इस ढंग से बनता है।
Explain this, please.
इन
प्रयोजन ये है, इसका ये है, इसका ये।
Right. Let's complete this one. This is a cute ending. So then I'll explain the whole thing.
प्रयोजनों को पहचानने के लिए मानव के अतिरिक्त और कोई संसार में वस्तु नहीं है। इसको पहचानने के लिए हम सदा सदा तत्पर हैं और इसको आगे चल करके समझने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे। जय हो, मंगल हो, कल्याण हो।
Okay. So he says we were talking about,
What happened to him today?
Yeah, today he is really stressing on something. I think he is constantly taking us back to the fact that there is a purpose, and that purpose is our goals, and the purpose of human beings is the purpose of relationships, is the purpose of dedicating all our resources. And if we are able to identify this purpose, we are able to identify our goals, we will be able to live well in our relationships also, and we will be able to secure our resources also. So constantly taking us back, whether you look at it from the angle of relationships or from the angle of resources, that we must understand this thing that is called purpose. So you're saying that the goals of humans are themselves the human purpose. The goals of the Jeevan are themselves the purpose of the Jeevan. And the goals of existence are themselves, or is itself the goal of the purpose of existence. And, and it is only in all of existence, it is only humans and no other entity that is capable of recognizing these purposes. And to recognize this purpose, we are eternally driven. And in the future, we will also try to understand this. Now, going forward, we will try to understand this. So he's ending on the note that he is saying there is a purpose to existence and there is a goal to existence. There is a purpose to the Jeevan and there is a goal for the Jeevan. There is purpose of the human being and there is a goal of the human being.
And then Jai Ho.
Then, oh yes. And then Jai Ho, Mangal Ho, Kalyan Ho. This means let there be, how do we say? Jai? Let there be
blessing.
Victory.
Jai, Vijay, Jai.
Let there be victory. Let there be welfare. Let there be victory. Let there be well-being. Let there be welfare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. After you finish recording, I'll say something.
Oh, okay. You can say it before also.
No.
Okay. Okay. Just before we end, I think it's useful to think about what this is, this difference between purpose and goal. That's something to think about.
Purpose will become goal. Now, if you know the purpose, that'll be your goal then.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say something after you stop recording.
Okay. I'll pause now. It's still recording.